Yeah. Next up, number 4, post to Q&A sites. We talked about this a little bit in a previous segment, but let's dive in a little deeper. A good way to become known as a subject matter expert with search engines is to go to the websites where the highest level of expertise about that subject matter exists. These can be sites like Wikipedia, Quora, Reddit, and working with them is not always easy. And doing it once and forgetting about it is not going to be effective. So let's talk about how to think about this. Number 1, make a list of the places that have relevant content to your subject matter. If your subject matter is cybersecurity, you can actually find quite a bit of activity happening on sites like Quora and Reddit around the topic of cybersecurity. There are actually entire communities out there for many, many subjects. It would actually be tougher to find a subject matter that doesn't have a passionate community. And so a lot of these sites have pages where folks are going in and they're really building a reputation in these communities as being an authority. So here are the 3 tips that we recommend for using these communities. Number 1, don't try to do all of them. Instead, pick the ones where the highest relevance of subject matter exists. So if you're a company that offers cybersecurity and you look at Reddit and say, wow, there's a really strong cybersecurity community there, maybe say, hey, we're going to start posting to Reddit. We're going to answer and comment and engage on Reddit. And that's going to be our thing. Don't get too spread too thin and say, well, there is a little Facebook group and there is this other Discus discussion board on this other website, and there's Reddit and there's Quora, and we're going to try to do them all. We're going to be really aggressive, try to do them all. Try to be master of one of them first before you expand. So pick your channels wisely, pick well. Number 2, understand that the publishing process for all of these is very different, and some are easy, some are hard. Quora, Reddit, very easy to integrate into a workflow. Wikipedia, very difficult. And Wikipedia is more meant to be the official encyclopedia of the internet, not a thriving, active discussion environment. So for something like Wikipedia, we recommend dialing back the frequency and really taking, we're now, if we're building a page around a company on Wikipedia, we're saying this is going to take us 12 months to do. You have to go in real slow and real light with Wikipedia. You can't just go pushing stuff to the Wikipedia domain and have it accepted.
Yeah, because it's got to be accepted by the team of moderators, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so Wikipedia is a very different kind of filter. But once you get in there and get established through best practices for publishing to Wikipedia, having that URL pointed back to your website will be very valuable. And we've done this a number of times, but we talk about it as a 6 to 12 month strategy. You can't just go load up a bunch of your sales propaganda onto a Wikipedia page about your company and expect it to stay. It won't stay. Number 3, live out of an editorial schedule. Whatever your plan is, whatever you're planning to do and engage, it's going to have to depend on consistency rather than passion or how you feel. If you assign to your CEO to go out to Reddit once a month and say something smart, they're going to do it once. Nobody's going to say anything about it. And then they're never going to do it again. What you have to have for all of your online marketing is a central repository of dates, formats, and who's doing what. And we call that a master editorial schedule. Mm-hmm. And your posting to these offsite properties to get inbound links are no different. Put it in as separate rows with dates. If you're using Basecamp or some other project management software to run your business, break these up as separate Basecamp actions and run the play. Don't do it for 6 months or a year. Don't do it for less than 6 months or a year without evaluating it. Or don't do it for less than 6 months or a year before you evaluate it. Don't judge it too quickly. You got to run this type of tactic for 6 to 12 months to even get a little flicker of value out of it. Because what's happening is those inbound links are getting built over time.
Yeah.
And it's just one tactic of a full, robust SEO strategy.